recording so that those who missed can get benefit out of it. So we'll begin by chanting these verses, the 3 verses from 18th chapter. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mam evashyasya satyam te pratijani priyosi me sarvadharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shucha.
Prabhuji, you are not audible.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sure. So Krishna says, 18.65, always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So there's a lot of my reference, I reference is there 7 times, as many as 7 times in this verse, which shows that Krishna wants to do something for us, provided Arjuna do certain things. So it's a reciprocation rather than a. So as long as Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna, Krishna is ready to do more for Arjuna. And abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. He confirmed this in this verse. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Karishye vachanam tava. Whatever be those instructions, I will follow them. So today's focus is on this line and how to perform activities. That's also a topic that we have today. The chapter 4 recap, very quick, is where Krishna started this chapter by giving, saying that speaking on, initiated this chapter by speaking on his own, and he says that he's giving this knowledge to Arjuna because Arjuna is his devotee and a friend. Bhakto semi sakha cheti, bhakto and a sakha. So these are the qualifications. So as a devotee, he is non-envious of Krishna. He is in the mood of service, and as a friend, he has a loving relationship with Krishna. So the loving and serving nature of adopted by a jiva becomes the qualification for gaining knowledge, and by gaining knowledge, one practice, and that's how one perfect one's life. That's how. So these are the fundamental qualifications. So we should all have. So with these qualifications, we become submissive to Lord. We become humble to Lord. We become non-envious of God. And with becoming friend, we actually form a bond with God. We come into relationship with God. Then further, Krishna says that he's given this knowledge to Sun God, was king of all planets. Why to kings? Because he can demonstrate by his actions to his subjects that how he should act, and he has given it to his son, and thereby this knowledge is being passed on in disciplic succession. So it's been heard and passed on to a next generation. So sun gods Ishwaku speak to his son, then he speak with his son. However, in the course of time, the knowledge was lost. Therefore, to re-establish dharma, Krishna is going to speak this knowledge again to Arjuna. So the whatever the knowledge Krishna has spoken up till now, from starting from second chapter 11th verse onwards, and the till the end of Bhagavad Gita, whatever the knowledge he will share, he's saying that this is not a new knowledge. A lot of people have heard it in past, and they have perfected their life using this knowledge. So it's not a freshly concocted knowledge. So therefore, Arjuna should have no doubt that this knowledge will work if he follow this knowledge. So this was again the assurance, and then the famous verses comes. The Krishna comes to re-establish dharma, sarva dharman. Just try and mute everyone.
Yeah, Prabhuji, someone like running hammer, that kind of sound is coming.
Sure, sir. You are not audible.
Hello, Hare Krishna. This is better.
Yes,
Yeah, I'll just try and use the other mic.
I hope Jasmine Mataji is there. Means some work is going on. Hopefully there at her home.
okay.
Yeah, her audio is actually most of
Sorry.
sound.
Uh,
No, it's okay, Mataji. I think
I'm sorry.
accidentally.
Some work is going
No, it's
on next door.
absolutely fine. Yeah,
That's
I
fine.
can understand that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll just stop my video. Hopefully, we'll.
Okay.
That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah, let's continue. So karma yoga, Gahana, Karmano, Gatihi. And so this verse comes in 4.17. So we'll look at two verses and we'll look at this section called Karma Yoga, which comes in chapter 4. So chapter 4, if you recall, chapter 3 was Karma Yoga, and in towards the ends, what's activity that what force do sinful actions, what is it that that makes them and Krishna answers to that. He gives that the lust is the eternal enemy of the Nitya Vairinai, eternal enemy of the living entities who are trying to pursue spirituality, who are trying to perfect their life. Through Karma Yoga, they are seeking liberation. So for them, lust could be a devastating if it is not controlled, if it is not checked. So with this, he comes to start talking about how the knowledge that he has shared till now, that's the karma yoga and the conquering of lust, why it is critical. Now this knowledge is not because up till now he has shared this knowledge. Second chapter he has covered practically everything, almost as a summary of Bhagavad Gita. And third chapter he has started talking about Karma Yoga in detail. Point is that that's then the
Prabhuji, your audio is
fifth
quite lagging.
then says that what is not is a
Prabhuji, not audible at all.
Is this better, this combination?
Now it is better.
Okay. Yeah, let's stay on this. Because of the hammering sound, I thought it was coming at my end, so I keep changing the. But
Okay,
fine,
Prabhuji.
that
Yeah.
is gone. I think let's continue. So this is the background, and then Krishna speaks elaborately about himself. So Krishna take this opportunity to bring his personal aspect into Bhagavad Gita. Ultimate objective of speaking Bhagavad Gita is to establish Krishna as a to give duties to establish goal and the means to achieve that goal. So the goal for human life is to seek Krishna, and means to achieve those goals are explained through various ways, but ultimately conclude here that Bhakti Yoga is the ultimate goal. So in order to begin that discussion, or Krishna introduces himself in Bhagavad Gita in the fourth chapter. So take this opportunity to speak that he is not ordinary. He has spoken this knowledge to even sun god. And because he can remember, why we can remember? Because he doesn't change body. And we had one entire section till 16th verse, a very beautiful section where Krishna is speaking about himself and what is the glory of knowing him in Tattva. How can one understand him in Tattva? And from then this section concludes on the 15th verse, and from 16th verse onwards he again switched back to the 3.34 where he had left the discussion about Karma Yoga, and then he continued from there. So he's now again going back to Karma Yoga. In the fourth chapter, up till now we have heard description about Krishna and himself, but now that he gives a pause and he starts discussing the Karma Yoga again, go back to the original topic that he had started in from third chapter onwards. So these two verses, this section of verses is from 16 to 24. They cover the Karma Yoga in a nutshell. And so we'll look at two verses, then we'll look at a case study today. It's an interesting case study we have. Hopefully we'll have discussions, a lot of discussions on that also. Yeah, let's begin with this. So Krishna says that in the 14, 16, 17 verses we'll read today. We'll read the translation and we'll switch to the other topic. Kim karma, kim akarbeti, kavayopya atra mohitaha, tatte karma pravakshami yajnatva mokshase shubha. Karmano yapi bodhavyam cha vikarmanah, akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gatihi. Translations for 16th verse. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune. The next verse, 17th verse, the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. So essentially, we are talking about three things. Three words comes repeatedly: karma, vikarma, akarma. So these three words comes. Karma has again various meanings, but the context in which it is used here is karma means action according to dharma or shastra, which brings good results. Vikarma, on the other hand, is a forbidden action, as Prabhupada explained in the translation, which brings bad results. So anything done a dharmic way is a vikarma. Akarma is has two meanings attached to it. Akarma has a meaning as inaction or not taking any action, even if the situation demands action. So where it is required, for example, if a patient is dying and doctor is present at the site and he doesn't help patient, does not give treatment, it could be legally also, it could go against him if some case is made. Policeman is present and in front of him robbery happens. Again, that's the action is required. So this is example. There are examples of inaction where no action is taken and which itself could give rise to a negative activity, a negative result. Akarma also has another meaning attached to it. Akarma is also means that action in Krishna consciousness or action performed for pleasing, serving Krishna or on behalf of Krishna. So this is the action which brings no reaction. So Ishopanishad also this explains this second verse that so these are the actions and karma, vikarma and akarma. So depending on the context in which it is used, that meaning can change a little bit. Karma sometimes is also referred to as reaction. So when we hear somebody say that I'm suffering my karma, so basically what they are meaning is they are suffering the results of their karma. They would have done some activities and as a result, they probably are getting sufferings to which are also referred to as a karma. So sometimes people refer that I'm suffering my karma means they are referring to the reaction of karma, not necessarily the original action. Sometimes the karma also means is referred to, or it is said that when we say karma, basically we are giving reference to the entire system of law of karma, the entire system in which the actions need to be performed. Having performed the action, one becomes entitled for the result. Some result accrues, and the action, if it is performed in a dharmic way within the boundaries of dharma, that reactions could be good. If it is performed in a dharmic way, the reaction could be bad. But the entire system is called law of karma, and which is also sometimes referred to as karma. So karma could have been different thing when based on what we refer to. That Prabhupada in 14 purport to 4.16 says that the knowledge has to be heard. Knowledge has to be heard in the disciplic succession, and then he gives names of 12 Mahajanas who are authorized persons who are authorities in teaching Krishna consciousness. Those 12 Mahajanas are Brahma, Shiva, Narada, Manu, the Kumaras, 4 Kumaras, Lord Kapila, Prahlad, Bhishma Dev, Sukadev Goswami, Yamaraj, Janaka, and Bali Maharaj. So these are 12 Mahajanas who perfected their life, who have perfected their own life. They were all devotees of Lord Krishna and who are authorized to teach Krishna consciousness. And any teacher who is teaching this science of Krishna consciousness has to be in this succession, has to have heard it from this succession. So this is the flow of authority that is explained. Also, important section comes in the purport to 4.17. If one is serious about liberation from material bondage, one has to understand the distinction between action, inaction, and unauthorized action. So again, that objective, it is presumed that if one has to be serious about liberation from material bondage, so the liberation is the objective ultimately that every human should have. Sometimes people just get caught up in dharma, artha, kama, or artha and kama to be precise, and they forget about this ultimate objective that we need to achieve: dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. So Prabhupada bring that point right up front that everyone, if one is serious about liberation, then they must get this knowledge of action. They need to know once again, so one has to apply oneself to such an analysis of action, reaction, and perverted actions, because it is very difficult subject matter. So that's a description for Gahana, Karmano, Gatih. And the further Prabhupada says that to understand Krishna consciousness and action according to its modes, one has to learn one's relationship with Supreme, and one who has learned perfectly knows that every living entity is an eternal servitor of the Lord, and that consequently one has to act in Krishna consciousness. The entire Bhagavad Gita is directed towards this conclusion. So what is the conclusion? That every living entity is an eternal servitor of the Lord. In what relationship they serve Lord is what they have to figure out. And because why they have to figure out? Because they have forgotten. Eternal associate of the Lord always remember what role they have in the Lord's pastimes, and therefore they never forget. But since we have been caught up in the material consciousness for controlling and enjoying, and we've been away from Lord for so long, all the living entities have forgotten their consciousness, this original position of theirs as a servitor of the Lord. Also, they need to find out what is their relationship with Lord. When these two things are figured out by during their lifetime, then their life can go towards perfection, towards liberation. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is a reminder to tell everyone, all the living entities, especially the human beings, that Lord Krishna is the objective that everyone has to have. Krishna is the goal that everybody should seek to achieve, and means to achieve that goal is through service, service in a humble way, in a submissive way. When we serve Lord, we will be able to figure out our relationship with Him, and that will be that is going to be the ultimate conclusion. That is the ultimate purpose of learning Bhagavad Gita. We will look at one story today, and the story is from Mahabharata. So after the conclusion of war, Pandavas, when Duryodhana was killed, Bhishma was on the bed of arrows, and practically nobody else was left. Ashwathama had finished his things, and all that has happened. Then that's when Yudhishthir Maharaj then decided to visit palace and visit Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, and then Kunti. So this is the story we'll study today. I've captured story in multiple slides. Try and read this, and we'll discuss a couple of questions in between. And so idea is basically that even the most knowledgeable person can become confused about karma. So this is an example of that, and how they solve this problem ultimately is what we will see. So Pandavas, after concluding the war, they go back to palace, and Dhritarashtra is there, Gandhari is staying there, and Sanjay has completed the narration of the events that have happened. And Yudhishthir, along with his brothers and Lord Krishna, they visit Dhritarashtra, and that's where That's where this scene begins. So this section comes in the Mahabharata, chapter 30. We have this Mahabharata book, beautiful Mahabharata book on vedabase.io website. I've picked up all this from there. So everybody's feel free to go there and read more from there. I'll send a link to everyone so that you all can have this. So the Pandavas, led by Maharaj Yudhishthir and Lord Krishna, they goes to meet Dhritarashtra, and then they're as they are going down to Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtra actually tries to intend to embrace Bhima so tightly that he could die in that crushing. He could die crushing. But Lord Krishna knew that intent of Dhritarashtra, so he, instead of asking Bhima to embrace Dhritarashtra, he actually uses image of Bhima, which Duryodhana used to use in his gymnasium, he pushed that effigy into Dhritarashtra's arm, and that metal effigy, metal image of Bhima, Dhritarashtra hugs it so tightly that it crushes, and then that way Dhritarashtra let go his anger, and he releases his anger towards Pandavas and especially Bhima, and then he becomes very remorseful, very sad after that. And then everybody then touches his feet, they offer him obeisances, and then he requests them to go and meet Gandhari also. This is another big test. Both Dhritarashtra and Gandhari had just lost their beloved sons, 100 sons. All the sons were killed in the war. He is still a king, but effectively he knew that he has lost his war, and there is grief, there is a lot of sorrow in their heart. So when Pandavas went to meet Gandhari, Vyasdev appeared there, and he consoled Gandhari before arrival of Dhritarashtra there, and he said, take this opportunity, Gandhari, to exercise forgiveness. Remember, Queen, that it was you who blessed Duryodhana with a statement, victory always attained righteousness. Your words have not proven false, which means your words have come true. And certainly you should respect that, because that's what you have said, and that's what which has happened. Certainly the Pandavas are endowed with all virtuous qualities. Cast away your evil desire. So Gandhari wanted to curse Yudhishthir and Pandavas for having done what they have done. So then there was a long conversation that Gandhari had with Bhima. So she questioned Bhima, why you killed Duryodhana in a way in which it was not acceptable in the fight. Fight has certain rules, and you broke those rules to kill Duryodhana, kill my son. And so Bhima answers that in a very, very nice way. That so the answer is Duryodhana, the way he killed, on the instructions of Krishna, and whatever Krishna says is dharma, is the statement of dharma. It cannot be adharmic. And being servitor of Krishna, being devotees of Krishna, they said we will do anything that Krishna says without even a second thought whether the instruction is within the rules or not within the rules. Having flouted all the rules up till now, Duryodhana and even the Kauravas they simply lost the morality to say that it was not done in a dharmic way, because they've probably practically they've broken every possible rule that was set up for the war. So but having spoken this, Gandhari still controls her anger. But when Lord Krishna comes in front of her, again she couldn't control. And then she spoke this, asking Krishna to come before her. Gandhari said that the Pandavas and Kauravas have been rooted out. O Krishna, even before your eyes. Why were you indifferent to them? You could have prevented this slaughter, O Madhava. Since you deliberately allowed this universal destruction, you should now feel the consequences. By whatever little merit I have acquired by serving my husband, I curse you, O holder of disgrace, since you callously allowed the Kurus and Pandavas to kill one another. You will be the destroyer of your own kinsmen. O Govinda, on the 36th year from now, you will kill your own family members in a factorial fight, finally dying yourself by foul means. The ladies of your family will thus weep, even as the Kuru ladies are now doing. And Krishna accepted these words. And Krishna humbly accepted these words. He bowed his head, folded arms. He said, your words will be true, O chaste lady. There are none on this world who can exterminate the Vrishnis and Yadavas. In delivering this curse, you have assisted me, for I have been wondering how to take my kinsmen back out of this world. Neither gods, Gandharvas, nor Asuras can kill them, so they will therefore slay each other. So Krishna simply used that curse to create an exit plan for his all eternal associates, all the devatas who have appeared in Vrishni and Kuru dynasty, Yadava dynasty, and so this is where post this they go on to meet Kunti, and Kunti Maharani again she reveals secret about Karna, and Krishna confirms this that. Because I had given my word to Kunti, I did not reveal this to you earlier. And so this is the conversation which is going on. And Yudhishthira is being an elder brother, being the king, new supposedly he would now become a king. He's been in the forefront of all the conversations. So he begins all the conversations and he speaks on behalf of all Pandavas. And he's the first one to hear the anger of, and the anguish of all these parents and both these parents of Kauravas. And Kunti also comes and reveals this secret that Karna was their son, the eldest son, and that makes Duryodhana further drown. His feels as if he's drowning in ocean of sorrow, and he's completely remorseful. He's not knowing what to do. And in that situation, Yudhishthir now reveals his heart, having paid last respects for Karna, and having heard from their mother about the reality of Karna, and having the sorrow eating up himself from within. He speaks before Krishna and before Pandavas. He speaks his intention to spend the rest of his life in penance. So we have waged war like dogs fighting for a piece of meat. Now we no longer desire that meat. I will throw it aside. The endeavor was useless, and we have not gained our objective, and our enemies have not gained theirs. The evil Kauravas, indulged by the foolish king Dhritarashtra, have met with the destruction, and we are left with the burnt remnants. Go on to further say that I will go to forest, abandoning my attachment for this world, with my mind fixed on renunciation. I will attain to the goal ever sought by aesthetic and sages. Let Bhima become the king, or you, Arjuna, with Krishna as your dear friend, may rule the earth. I do not wish to be the king any longer. So I'll just pause here. So this is one activity let's do. What advice you will give to Yudhishthir Maharaj and why is the question. We will briefly deliberate, and then we will see what answers come up in the story. We'll take the story further. So the question they're saying, you've heard the story so far. that Yudhishthira is drowning in the ocean of sorrow, as if. Now he's not at all happy that he ended up killing all his relatives and his brothers. Karna happened to be his elder brother. That is also eating him from within. And with all this, he's now refusing to become king and start rule. What advice can we give him and why? Feel free to raise hand or unmute, or feel free to add any comments, any thoughts you may have. Hare Krishna, is voice okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, okay.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
your voice is not okay. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, Rupa. Just share the screen so it's there in front of you. So question is, what advice should we give to Yudhishthir? The Yudhishthir Maharaj is refusing. He's saying he will go to forest and he does not want kingdom. After concluding the entire war, now he is refusing to accept the kingdom. He's just met Dhritarashtra Maharaj. He's just met Gandhari, and they were saved. He was not cursed because Vasudev intervened, and the curse finally went to Krishna. But they were saved. They were now perfectly. They were in the perfect position to start ruling the kingdom, the practically unrivaled kingdom with all the opulence. But now at this stage, he's saying he will go to forest, and he wanted to renounce the world. Does not want to enjoy the opulence that he has just won. Uh, what advice can we give him, and why?
Prabhuji, in my opinion, he should have continued performing a karma in consciousness of God and keep serving the countrymen and helping their life to reach goddess. And he should have continued as a king and in the spirit of God, in the line of guidance given by Krishna. He should have continued rather than going into forest and just leaving everything. He should have continued.
Okay, good, very nice answer, Prabhu. Anybody else wants to contribute? You can use chat also if you wish to.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Vinod Prabhuji, I hope Vinod Prabhuji has given a wonderful explanation regarding that. The Karma Yoga explained by Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the same, that yes, we should continue our karmas rather than renunciating things without completing our karmas. So it was, in my opinion, it was the duty of Yudhishthir Maharaj to continue the kingdom, and because he was also a symbol of dharma. So just Mahabharat happened to just establish the dharma, and if Yudhishthir Maharaj would have left his kingdom just like that for renunciation, and he would have gone to forest, the purpose would not have been served of Mahabharata war. So the ultimate duty of Yudhishthir Maharaj was to serve his subjects with dharma as the nature
guiding
of his
principle.
kingdom. Yeah.
Okay, very
Yes,
nice
thank you very
question.
much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Moreover, Prabhuji, in his life also, he should have, he doesn't know that what karma he accumulated over his previous life and all. He should have continued doing a karma in mercy of Krishna and in love and affection of Krishna, and encourage his countrymen to do the same thing to reach their objectives.
Okay, very nice. Anybody else wants to add anything, or anybody agrees with with Yudhishthir Maharaj's decision that yes, I think going to forest could be helpful for him because ultimately getting engaged in ruling, which means for a kshatriya to live in palace, to live with wives, to have again more children, and again you may just get tempted or fall in the trap of sense enjoyment and may just move away from the path. That could be playing on his mind. Could be that he has killed so many people, he has already incurred a lot of sin. With that sin, he's immediately thinking that with this sin, the reactions could come. Then for those reactions, I will have to suffer in the palatial life also. So suffering, and anyway, for last 13, 12 years, they were living in a forest anyway. And then just after 1 year in Ajnatwas, they just came back and then had this entire war. Yes. Jai Mataji, Yudhishthir Maharaj just killed the bodies that had polluted minds. The soul did not die. Pandavas acted in the guidance of Lord. So Pandavas didn't do anything wrong. And Yudhishthir Maharaj could rule the kingdom but not be attached to the kingdom. Very important point, Mataji. Thank you so much. That may also be counted as a renunciation. Absolutely true. Very nice point.
Hare
Anybody
Krishna,
else?
Prabhuji.
Yes. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
So according to me, probably he was, he was realizing that he has done a sin. Actually, that was not a sin because it was, to establish dharma. But a person may be in a, situation where they are not satisfied with themselves. So according to the story, I feel that Yudhishthir Maharaj was not satisfied with the fact that, you know uh, uh, his own family members are killed, and how can he live with a peace. So maybe that question gave him that a thought that he should leave everything and then renounce himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
Because yes, he always knew that he would be engaging in a fight with his own family members. And in a fight, a kshatriya, when two kshatriyas fight, the death of one is inevitable almost. So it was not a surprise. But at the same time, he was a symbol of dharma, as Sabri said. That he was not an ordinary person. He was an extremely respected person. Even he was knowledgeable and he had guidance of Lord Krishna. So he was not an ignorant man who wanted to run away from his duty. And
correct.
he was not. So that way he was still a. He knew what he was doing, and but even he was in a state of flux, or we call say bewilderment. Ki ye karu ki ye karu. For him, both paths appear to be good, but he thought this is more dangerous. Going to forest will be a better choice for me, having indulged in all this sin.
Correct,
But
because he was not
nice point, Shibai.
satisfied.
Yeah.
Because self realization is the very key point which we as a humans also suffer. When we are self realized, we ask ourselves this question, that is it a good or is it bad. And Yudhishthir Maharaj, I mean, this story which you recently told us gives us also a realization that we also come, daily, in a day to day basis, we also come in these situations where we are in a fix, to decide between our karma, I mean our duties, and our responsibilities.
Correct, correct. And having a burden, he was extremely, the description is drowning in ocean of sorrow. डूब रहे
Correct.
थे ocean of sorrow में. Now, as a devotee, we don't want to be in a sorrow, right? We तो say कि हम devotee है तो भगवान हमारे साथ अच्छा करना चाहिए. So, but then this is the condition, and that's you're rightly pointed out that all of us faces this condition, this situation from time and again. In day-to-day life, also we come across situation where we feel कि अरे ये हमारे साथ क्यों हो रहा है? हम तो अच्छे लोग हैं, and that could become a keep giving us a mental torture sometimes, or even we may come into fix कि ये क्या करें, ये करें कि ये करें. You're right. Sainath Prabhu, Jai Sudarshan Prabhu, anything else? Anirudhan Prabhu. Yeah, feel free, yeah, because there's no, we're not here to do right or wrong, but we're just discussing and we can go ahead otherwise.
Yes,
Uh,
Prabhu. Like my opinion regarding this, when Yudhishthira was kind of a dharma guru, and from the Kshatriya point of view, he has to go ahead and serve his nation, and like he was in a ocean of sorrow, and he was deeply kind of regretting all the things he has done in the battlefield. His own people died. He have killed his own people. He has killed, and he was kind of an really, you know. So I feel that after doing all this stuff, he has to go he has already said that I want to go to the forest and take renunciation. I do understand. Like my advice is to be even if I would be in his place after doing all the stuff, I will be not feeling very good because I have killed my own people. As a king, I should have gone and served my nation, but on the other hand, I will feel very bad and I would not be able to perform my like duties in a regular way. And I should have go to the forest and take renunciation and uh, ask everybody to forgive me what I have done and take to the Lord's just take Lord's name all the time. Hare Krishna.
okay, okay, nice. Another view, very nice view. Anybody else wish to contribute, or we can move forward otherwise? Okay. So so yeah, we'll just move forward in the interest of time. So when when something like this happens, everybody jump in to give advice to Yudhishthir Maharaj, and Yudhishthir was her elder brother for Pandavas, so they were very respectful about him. But seeing him bewildered was not a usual sight. Just say, and then we will see that everybody jumps in to give logic, provide logic, and who all were present in that time. All the Pandavas were there. Krishna was there. Vyasdev was there. Narad Muni was there. So all the great personalities were present there. And let's see what all advice they start giving to Krishna. You can see the presentation. Yeah, you can see. So Arjuna started and he explained about the duties of Kshatriya king, and very much very similar to what Vinod Prabhu said. He said that duty of king, forget enjoyment or forget your duty is to take care of your kingdom and the kingsmen. They depend on king. They want a king. They want a righteous king. For that, the whole war has happened. You cannot just now run away from duty. So it's giving a view. Bhima also spoke. Now Bhima was famous for his prowess, his power, and his ability to eat. But seeing Yudhishthir confused, he also started sharing a lot of wisdom. So it's like so Bhima speaks at length and then concludes that if, O king, one could attain perfection simply by renunciation, and then the mountains and trees would be perfected beings. They all lead lives of abstention. They do not harm anyone, and then they practice celibacy. So he said, why is not a solution to go to jungle, and just by living in jungle, one cannot become perfect. So our mind, we've seen that in the third chapter, sixth verse also, that vimudhatma and mithyachari. So Krishna says that a person renounces externally, but internally continues to dwell his mind. His mind continues to dwell on sense object. Then such person um, is not a true renouncer. He's a mithyachari and vimudhatma, the two strong words Krishna used for condemning such actions. And currently, again, the situation is similar, that Yudhishthir Maharaj have just fought a war, and after killing the world, the universal destruction. The Gandhari used the word universal destruction. As if the whole universe was assembled there and killed. They got killed in front of his eyes, Krishna's eyes. And after doing this, now he's saying, for the reason why we did it was to win a kingdom and to establish or re-establish the rule of dharma. And now, without doing that, he wanted to run away. So Bhima is saying that real renunciation means performing one's duty as the Supreme Lord's desire, as the Supreme Lord desires. So it's not about whether you live in a palace or you live in a jungle. As long as you're doing your duties as per the desires of Supreme Lord, you will be considered as renunciate. Now, one of the Mataji also, I think, made this point very clearly, very nicely. The world moves with all being acting according to their God-given natures. One who abstains from action can never achieve success. Now you face, so Bhima goes on to say that there's no question of running away from action. Running away from action is actually sinful. So we saw two examples where a doctor cannot run away from action. When somebody is there who needs his attention and cure, he has to perform his duties. That's very, it will be considered to be very adharmic and very unfortunate. It could be punishable also if a doctor refuses to treat a patient for any reason. Similarly, a policeman, we saw that similar example. Bhima further goes on to say that he says even deeper, goes even deeper, not only externally that you want to renounce. He goes further and say that now you face even a greater battle, the battle with your mind. Now he's saying that the external battle is over, where the arrows were shot and maces were clashing and swords were exchanged, but that is over now. But this is an internal battle that now you're suffering, and you seems to be losing this internal battle. If you expire before gaining victory in this fight, then you will have to take another birth and resume battle until you win. Again, a very deep thought. Bhima is not expected to give wisdom, but we all know Bhima as his for his prowess. But here he gives very sublime wisdom. He speaks very nicely, very beautifully verses. After hearing this, Yudhishthir stiffens. Up till now, he was listening carefully, but he was not reacting. And Nakul Sahdev, everybody speaks, but he was not reacting. But after hearing this, that I am losing battle with my own mind, he becomes very, he stiffens up. And he replies that, "Oh Bhima, I think it is you who is overcome by his mind." So he says, it's not me who is losing my battle with the mind, but it's you who seems to be losing your battle with your mind. And because he's drawing a simple theory that if I were attached, I would have loved to go and enjoy in the kingdom. I would have loved to go in the palace and would have enjoyed. But and that's what mind typically demands. Mind is led by its five senses. Senses look up for sense objects and give message to mind to create situations where those objects can be enjoyed. But Yudhishthir says, I am talking about renunciation. I am trying to do something higher. Well, what are you saying? Those who are bound by their mind, or those people who are defeated by their mind, for them, renunciation is next to impossible, because they are not finished their sense enjoyments only. They just think from one sense enjoyment to another sense enjoyment. So your argument doesn't seem to be correct. That's what Yudhishthir says, that vanity and ignorance. You urge me to accept the earth and abandon my desire for renunciation, but how will that satisfy my soul or even my senses? Desire for enjoyment can never be satisfied. So Yudhishthir is giving knowledge back to Krishna, saying that you think I'm losing my battle with my mind? No, it's not correct. because I'm trying to pursue which is higher, something which is higher than your sense enjoyment, which is the typical subject matter of our mind. That, and he says that they stand as impediments on the spiritual path. Only those able to give up all such desires can attain life's perfection. One free from all desire become eligible to enter eternal regions of bliss. But those who remain entangled in the vain quest for worldly pleasure are most certainly obliged to remain in this world of suffering. So, so this is the conversation which was happening between Bhima and Yudhishthira, and everybody speaks. They take their turn to explain or to convince Maharaj Yudhishthira not to renounce and continue as a king. Looking up, Vyasdev also speaks. Uh, looked up at Vyasdev and says that it is true that even one who performs his duties accordance with the scriptural injunctions does not occur sin. This I understand. Yudhishthira is talking to Vyasdev, but it is the sin that I have already committed that burn and consumes me. How will I be freed from them? Having committed genocide, I will doubtlessly fall into hell. I think it is best that I atone by abstaining from food and drink and reduce my body until my life air depart. Surely I can be released by no other means. Now he's again land up into a similar situation that Arjuna was, where he's drawing conclusions and telling decisions, judgments. He's issuing judgments that if I do this, then I think I will be released. Now, again to this, Vyasdev replies, O king, you wish to hear the morality and duties of king at length. You should approach Bhishma. I do not think there is anyone who exceed his knowledge in this regard. And Krishna places his hand on the Yudhishthira and confirms this statement by Vyasdev that do not indulge in grief, O best of kings. You should do what the holy Rishi has said. Go to Bhishma and hear from him about your duties. Now, this is the situation that even Krishna does choose to allow Bhishma Dev to speak. He's not spoken. Now, having spoken the entire Bhagavad Gita, the war had happened, the war was won, and again a similar situation arises. Now, this time, Krishna, instead of he's speaking, he's requesting Yudhishthira to approach Bhishma Dev. Bhishma is again a very great devotee. Bhishma Dev was one of the Mahajanas, one of the authorities who could teach Krishna consciousness, who could give knowledge about Krishna. He was in perfect knowledge, he was in perfect condition to love and serve Krishna. And let's see how their conversation goes further. Krishna told Yudhishthira that Bhishma would soon depart, and thus he and his brothers should leave at once to see Bhishma. When that great man leaves, so all kind of knowledge about morality and duty will live with him. No one can deliver instructions comparable to his, not even me. He's again leaving no chance to glorify his devotee. Bhishma Dev, who is to be one of the topmost devotees at that time, and Krishna leaves no stone unturned to praise him, to glorify him. Even by reducing his own position, he said, I cannot explain, but he can do it. So let's go to him and hear from him. When they approach Bhishma Dev, Bhishma was already lying on the bed of arrow, and he was about to depart in few days' time. And Bhishma Dev was waiting for Pandavas to arrive, and he knew that Pandavas would always be victorious because Krishna was on their side. And having fought uh, a very tough war himself, and he explained that what he did in that battlefield. But now he was waiting for perfect time to come where he can leave his body. He had this Ichha Mrityu Vardhan, and he wanted to make best use of it by serving Lord till the last breath of his. So Bhishma, when he was approached by Pandavas, he raised his head a little and looked into Krishna's face. So Krishna, along with all the Pandavas, they sat near him. Obeisance says to you, O divine Krishna, you are the creator and destroyer of all things. Everything material and spiritual emanates from and rests upon you eternally. I can now see your universal form with all its divine attributes. I take refuge in you, O Lord, and beseech your mercy. Tell me, O all powerful Supreme Person, what will be best for me now? I desire only to reach your blissful abode. So Bhishma Dev is expressing his ultimate desire, and he wants to serve at this in this condition also. He wants to serve Krishna, and he expresses his desire. It's extremely important to have this desire for liberation, have a desire to go back to Krishna and serve Krishna there, love Krishna there. And so this is where he starts speaking to then Yudhishthir when he was asked the question. So Krishna requests Bhishma Dev to uh, explain to Yudhishthir what Yudhishthir should do, what is a Raja Dharma, and what are the duties of a king, and how he should now conduct himself. So then Bhishma start instructing Yudhishthir that he confirms that what a terrible sufferings and injustice you good souls have suffered, even though you are the son of religion personified, Dharmaraj, only because you were protected by the Brahmin religion and Supreme Lord himself did you manage to survive. Bhishma spoke reassuringly, trying to dispel Yudhishthira's despondency by pointing out how he was under divine protection. Now, then he gives this ultimate instruction to Yudhishthir that what has happened, Yudhishthir was most remorseful or most he was in sorrow because he had just killed so many people. That uh, Bhishma says that everything was going on according to the Supreme Lord's will, and no one should grieve for such inevitabilities. Very important instruction. Bhishma turned his head slightly and then fixes gaze on Krishna. It is this divine and unknowable Krishna who controls everything. This is simply his energy. Surely, even the greatest seers and rishis cannot understand his plan. Despite their exhaustive inquiries about Krishna's activities, they remain bewildered. O Yudhishthira, best amongst the Bharatas, I therefore mention that all this destruction is within the Supreme Lord's plan. Accepting his inconceivable will, you must follow it. You are now the appointed administrative head, and thus you should take care of those subjects who have been rendered helpless. Beautiful instructions, beautiful. He reveals the heart that nothing can happen without Krishna's sanction. And if Krishna wants you to become a ruler, you should become a ruler. As a servant of Krishna, as a service to Krishna, you should rule. You should rule, you should do anything as a service to Krishna. If you want to live in a palace as a service to Krishna, you should do that. You should not shy away from your duties as which is that duty? The eternal duty of serving Krishna. So for serving Krishna, you may live in a hut, you may live in a jungle, you may live in a palace and rule a kingdom. And then Bhishma recounted the pastime. Bhishma says the most difficult service of any time was given to Bhishma Dev. The difficult part of it was to fight against Lord Krishna himself. And Bhishma, he was a warrior, always in a chivalry mode of chivalry. He enjoyed this role, enjoyed this pastime, but it was extremely difficult. So he recounts his pastime, the fulfilling my desire and sacrificing his own promise. He got down from the chariot. He took up a wheel and ran towards me just as a lion goes to kill an elephant. That image is forever fixed in my mind. Krishna's beautiful blackish face, smoldering in anger as he charged towards me, with his bright yellow garment falling to the ground. His armor was shattered by my arrows, and his body was smeared with blood of his wounds. May that Lord Krishna, the Supreme Person who awards salvation, be my ultimate destination. Krishna, wow, what a beautiful way to describe what had happened. And he's taking pride that he made law. His devotion is so, his, because of his devotion, because he took a vow that he will make Krishna fight, because Bhishma took a vow to Duryodhana saying that I will either I will kill the Pandavas or I will force Krishna to break his vow. Now, Krishna was he was so nobody expected Krishna to break his vow because Krishna had taken a vow that he will not fight and he will not take a weapon. But when the situation arose, when Arjuna was bewildered by while fighting with Bhishma, he was struggling to fight with Krishna. Krishna got down from chariot and picked up a wheel of a broken broken wheel of a chariot and he rushed towards Bhishma in this mood. And then Bhishma is explaining this mood again and again, explaining this Swarupa of Krishna, which he is now protecting in his he's saved in his carved in his heart, and he's simply enjoying this image of Krishna. The old Kuru hero felt sorry that he had attacked Krishna, although he knew that his arrow could not have harmed him. Becoming silent for some time, he meditated deeply upon the incident. He had felt an intense ecstasy when Krishna had come at him in anger. So Krishna, how many of us will feel satisfied when Krishna will come at us in anger? But that's the mood of a devotee. That's the mood of a devotee, and whatever his desire was, that's the mood of Lord who wants to fulfill desire of his devotee, dear devotee, and both of them are relishing it. It's confirmed in the next para. Krishna himself had obviously been experiencing pleasure, enjoying the mood of chivalry created by the fight. Bhishma found himself swimming in the remembrance of that feeling. Surely the exchange with Krishna on the battlefield had been the most sublime moment in his life. Now here was the same Supreme Person mercifully standing before him, despite the fact that Bhishma had assaulted both him and his intimate friend Arjuna during the war. So this is the encounter, this is the instructions, all coming back to Yudhishthir and through Yudhishthir to all of us. That how do we understand what actions to be performed? Um, how do we demystify this karma, the reaction of karma and akarma which is performed by serving Lord? How do we demystify this whole thing? The the simple message is the actions must be performed by keeping Krishna at the center for his pleasure and as a service to him. And such actions, can be performed by everybody. Everybody is capable of performing actions by keeping Krishna at the center. All the duties need to be performed, can be performed, and without renouncing anything. So beautiful message from the story. The results must be accepted as sanctioned by Lord as per his plans, which nobody can understand. And again, everybody confirms this. Vyasdev confirms this, Bhishmadev confirms this, that you have to be a part of larger plan of Krishna. Whatever Krishna is doing to you, the moment you become devotee, you should accept the results. Should not, there's no need to question the results. You just can control the actions. The results you have to accept humbly and in a submissive mood, and you have to tolerate. You have to tolerate the success also. You have to tolerate the failure also. If you can remain same in both success and failure, then none of these will impact you externally. So the results of good or bad simply need to be accepted and tolerated humbly, in a humble way. And giving up duty is not renunciation, but in fact it is sinful. So there's no question of whatever duties one is in, we should continue to perform. Actions in Krishna consciousness should be performed under guidance of a devotee. The last slide, and then we'll pause. So for pleasure of Krishna, uh, a service, as a service to Lord, or to execute his plans of the Lord. What are the examples we see? The Arjuna had to fight a war for Lord and ended up killing his family members. Bhima killed Duryodhana by breaking the rules. So whatever the Lord says becomes the religion. Whatever, nothing else is religion. Whatever is spoken by Lord is religion. Whatever the guiding principles given by Lord, they become the religion. And a devotee does not have complete faith in Lord for this while performing duty. Bhishma had difficult service to fight against the Lord. Yudhishthira Maharaj had to rule the kingdom as a service to Lord. Prahlad Maharaj was also given the same service. So he said after Hiranyakashipu was killed, Nrsimhadev said, "You become king." He said, "I don't want to become king now." But he said, "Yes, you have to become king. That is your service." So Yudhishthir Maharaj, and they led an opulent life apparently, but they did it as a service to Krishna. They did it without getting attached to the opulence. So you can be opulent, you can be not opulent or not so opulent or completely poverty stricken. If you are Krishna consciousness, you will stay as they are, as it is kept by Lord. And in that condition also, whichever condition you are in, we will continue to serve Lord. And so no one knows plans of the Lord, but pure devotees never quit serving Lord in any condition, good, bad, or ugly. So be it ocean of sorrow or be it anything. Srila Prabhupada's example again, kept fighting, he kept trying. So he would say that I will, if nobody comes for my class, I will speak to the walls. And he did that. He practically, he was ready to speak to even one person who would come to his classes in 1968. But not that he was always wanted a full classroom, but he's also understood that in between arranging two classes, he has to endeavor for preaching. So he did not stop endeavoring. He did not stop trying. He did not stop trying out new things. And then whatever the result, as if you tried hard and if one person comes, he would preach to him. He would preach to him with the same enthusiasm as he would speak to 1,000 people. But so he was doing both the things. He was trying tirelessly to serve Lord, to spread his word, spread his mission. At the same time, whatever the results of that, he was accepting it, and he was performing his duty to the best of his ability in the best possible manner. So so he was also getting failures. So he didn't complain to Lord that why you are giving me failures. I'm trying to serve you. How much failures he could get failures till the age of 70, and all your attempts to preach will be cancelled out, or will get negated or fail. And then at the age of 71, you may start seeing some success, some light at the end of tunnel. But can all of us work hard till 70? Probably we will not. But that's how great devotee do. That's what a great devotee can do. And he can tirelessly serve Lord, continue to serve Lord in any condition. So their attachment to serving Lord, faith on Lord, is their teaching for success to all of us. So that's the last slide. And so this is what we take from this beautiful pastime, beautiful story. And one has to continue to serve Lord in a submissive mood, and the situation. So there's a slight difference in the situation. In the last session, we've heard that for every result there is a immediate cause and there is a ultimate cause. For everything, ultimate cause is Krishna, because he's created this entire system of action reaction. But for devotees, the immediate cause is also Krishna. For pure devotees like Arjuna, they are completely guided by Yogmaya, who is supervising both. They are in direct control of Yogamaya, who is Krishna's external energy. And but for us, it could be karmic. So sufferings may come, may not come. Happiness may come and may go, but our desire to love and serve God should continue. And that is what will help us transcend this world and go beyond this world back to Krishna. I will pause here and we'll wait for, we'll see if anybody has any question or comment.
So Prabhuji, finally Krishna Yudhishthira performed? What he did lastly? After all this discussion, what he followed?
Hare Krishna? Yeah. So after this, hearing instructions from Bhishma, he explained, he accepted the crown, and he ruled the kingdom. He established the rule of dharma in the world. And then they all decided to leave, the Parikshit Maharaj was there, Arjuna, Abhimanyu's son. He becomes the king later.
Okay, Prabhuji.
It's 12:30. So let me know if anybody has any questions. I'll just put my phone number in the chat box for everyone. Feel free to ask any question or give any comments, or generally message me so that I can save your number. Whenever you can have question, you can post me and I can try and answer.
Prabhuji, you told you will be sharing one site where we can get some more details of it.
I'll do that, Prabhu. Yes. So these stories were on the vedabase.io. It's a beautiful website. And I'll share the link to the book, Mahabharat, this is called, and which has this section. We took it on from second Parva, chapter 30 and 31st. I'll share the link with everyone in the group as well as on the personal chat. Okay. So happy to see everyone again back, and we'll be happy to see everyone back again next Sunday, and we'll continue to explore more about Bhagavad Gita and some other new topic. And stay safe, everyone, and stay healthy. And we'll meet in our next Sunday session. Till then, Hare Krishna. Keep chanting, keep attending Japa session, keep attending chat sessions in the evening as much as you can. So and continue to stay connected with devotees and the message of Krishna. We'll also be sharing the book distribution. This is 25th is the Ekadashi, and so that's the day on which Bhagavad Gita was spoken. This is a very important Gita Jayanti day. Again, a very important event, and we celebrate this by distributing Bhagavad Gita across the world. So we've been part of few calls where we attended global calls where we understood who is doing using which strategies to distribute more Bhagavad Gitas this year. Being a pandemic year, a difficult year, and in spite of that, all devotees all over the world are enthusiastically serving Krishna by distributing message of Krishna, by distributing Bhagavad Gita all over the world. So we'll be sharing few posters. Please take a look at those and try and contribute, try and distribute Bhagavad Gita, try and purchase one Bhagavad Gita for yourself and give it as a gift to anybody whom you would like to. So being a year end, being a corporate year end or the calendar year end, there could be gifting that you could be requiring to do. So use all these opportunities to spread the message of Bhagavad Gita, to distribute Bhagavad Gita as much as you can. That will be, again, very nice service to Lord. So we'll be sharing some more details about the posters and how it can be done and what it can be done. So please take a look at that, and you can let us know if anybody has any questions about it, and we'll be happy to discuss and explain more. So take care, everyone, and see you all next Sunday. Hare Krishna for more of us.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you so much. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Vidya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Nice, nice to have you in the class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Vageshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.